The moment you stand up, your cat seems to materialize in your chair, every single time, almost as if they've been planning it for hours. But this isn't random mischief. New research shows cats track our habits with uncanny precision. And when they steal your seat, they're not just seeking warmth, they're leaving behind a complex chemical signature, sending messages scientists are only now decoding. So what are they really trying to say? And why does your chair matter more than you think? The answer turns a daily annoyance into a window on feline intelligence and trust, with consequences for your bond you would never expect. Ava's cat waits in absolute silence. The clock on the wall ticks, but the cat's eyes never leave her. She stands to refill her coffee, and in that instant he springs into action. The timestamp on Ava's home camera shows a delay of less than 3 seconds between her exit and his leap onto the chair. This is not a fluke. Over a week of footage, the pattern repeats. Her movement is the trigger every time. Sometimes he is perched in the hallway, sometimes he is crouched under the table, but his focus never wavers from her chair. The moment she shifts, his muscles tense, ready to move. Behavioral researchers have analyzed hundreds of similar home videos. In most, the cat appears to be napping or grooming nearby, but the instant the owner stands there is a subtle change. Ears flick forward, eyes widen, and the body orients toward the chair. Some cats even track their owners from across the room, waiting for the exact moment the seat is free. It is a game of patience, but also of precision. Cats rarely approach while the owner is still present, preferring to wait for complete vacancy. The timing is so consistent that in one study, 87% of observed cats entered the chair within 10 seconds of the owner leaving. This split-second choreography is not random. It is the result of keen observation and pattern recognition. Cats are expert watchers, mapping our routines and noticing the smallest cues: a hand reaching for a mug, the sound of a phone buzzing, the rustle of clothing. Every detail tells them when the seat will be available. The chair is not just any spot. It is the one place that signals safety and familiarity, primed by the owner's presence. For Ava's cat, and millions like him, the wait is deliberate, a calculated move in a daily ritual of silent surveillance. A cat's nose is a finely tuned instrument, built to decode the invisible world of scent that humans barely notice. When a chair is freshly vacated, the air above the fabric is thick with traces of its former occupant. Volatile compounds from skin, hair, and sweat, all layered over time. For a cat, this is not just background noise. It is a chemical signature, as distinct as a fingerprint. In 2025, Dr. Hidehiko Uchiyama's team at Tokyo University of Agriculture put this to the test. They presented domestic cats with cotton swabs carrying the scent of their owner or a stranger. The cats spent more time sniffing the unfamiliar. With their owner's scent, their behavior changed. A quick investigation, then a decisive move to rub or mark the object. This sniff, then mark sequence, documented in every trial, suggests the cat is checking, confirming, and then overlaying its own scent, a silent conversation written in molecules. Home video studies echo these findings. Cats approach a recently vacated chair, pause, and lower their nose to the fabric. Sometimes it is just a second, sometimes longer, but the sequence is nearly universal. Only after this olfactory check do they settle in, knead the cushion, or rub their face along the edge. The timing is more than routine. It is a response to a scent cue that signals both safety and opportunity. The chair holds a blend of familiar odors, and by adding their own, cats reinforce a shared territory, a chemical handshake between species. This invisible exchange is how cats recognize when a seat is truly theirs to claim, and why they so often wait for just the right moment. The science points to a world where smell, not sight, is the key to understanding feline timing and intent. A cat's claim on a chair is more than a matter of timing or preference. It is a chemical act, written in scent. Hidden beneath the soft fur of a cat's cheeks and chin are specialized glands that secrete a blend of fatty acids and organic compounds. The most studied of these is the F3 facial pheromone, rich in oleic acid, which cats deposit each time they rub their face along the edge of a cushion or the leg of a chair. This is not random. Every cheek rub, every slow drag of the chin leaves behind a molecular signature that signals familiarity and safety. The process is deliberate and layered. After the initial sniff, a cat presses its face to the fabric, releasing F3 from the sebaceous glands. This compound, dominated by oleic acid but also containing palmitic and azelaic acids, acts as a social glue. It does not just say, "I was here." It says, "This space belongs to my group." When a cat needs a seat with its paws, sweat glands between the toes add another layer, less about comfort, more about reinforcing the message. Paw scent marks are subtler, but together with facial marks, they weave a chemical tapestry that blends cat and human odors. This mixture is not accidental. Cats are experts at combining their scent with yours, creating a shared family odor. In homes with multiple cats, this cocktail of pheromones helps keep the peace, signaling to others that a chair is part of the communal territory. Even in single cat households, the ritual of marking a recently vacated chair is a way of renewing the bond between cat and owner. The scent does not last forever. Washing or time will erase it, but as long as the chair holds traces of both, a cat will keep returning, layering its own scent over yours in an ongoing dialogue. Facial and paw gland marks are the foundation of this chemical code. While the science of F3 has been mapped in the lab, the true meaning unfolds in the quiet moments after you leave the room, when your cat steps in to write its message, molecule by molecule. Inside the laboratory, the invisible world of scent becomes measurable. Using solid-phase microextraction, scientists capture the volatile compounds lingering above a chair's fabric after both human and cat have occupied it. These samples are then analyzed with gas chromatography mass spectrometry, a process that separates and identifies each chemical in the mix. The results reveal a tapestry of fatty acids and organic molecules, oleic acid from feline cheeks, squalene from human skin, and faint traces of palmitic and azelaic acids. This blend is not random. It forms a chemical badge, unique to each household, that persists on fabric until it is washed away. Researchers have gone further, testing the impact of these scent cocktails on cats themselves. In controlled trials, cats exposed to chairs marked with both human and feline pheromones show clear signs of relaxation. Heart rates drop, measured by non-invasive monitors as the animals settle into the scented spot. Salivary cortisol, a hormone linked to stress, declines in 3 out of 4 cats within 20 minutes of contact. One study led by Dr. Patrick Pagiat found that synthetic F3 facial pheromone, when applied to objects in unfamiliar environments, reduced visible anxiety behaviors by up to 70%. The natural version, deposited by a cat's own glands, appears to offer similar comfort in the home. The sequence unfolds with precision, sniff, mark, settle. Each step has been tracked in behavioral assays and confirmed with chemical analysis. The chair becomes more than a piece of furniture. It is a living archive of shared scent, a signal that tells the cat this is a safe place, a space belonging to their family group. The evidence is objective, down to the molecular signature. In the lab, the ritual of chair claiming is revealed not as a quirk, but as a sophisticated form of communication, one that soothes, reassures, and binds cat and human together at the chemical level. For decades, the story went like this. When a cat claims your chair, it is laying down the law. The old narrative paints cats as miniature monarchs, carving up the living room with invisible borders and enforcing their rule with every whisker and paw. In this view, chair stealing is a power move, a statement of dominance, not open for negotiation. The evidence seems to fit. In multi-cat households, the so-called alpha often occupies prized spots, while others linger at the edges. And when tensions run high, the evidence is hard to ignore. Urine spraying, the most dramatic form of territorial marking, affects about 10% of neutered cats, with numbers rising in the face of household stress or new arrivals. The message is unmistakable, and the consequences can be hard to live with. But the dominance model has its blind spots. Not every cat who seizes a chair is a tyrant. In fact, punishment for marking or spraying almost always backfires, ramping up anxiety and making the problem worse. Feline behaviorist Daniel Mills points out that most so-called dominance behaviors are actually reactions to uncertainty, not aggression. When the environment feels unstable with new furniture, visiting guests, or even a change in routine, marking increases, but not as a show of force. Instead, it is a coping mechanism, an attempt to restore a sense of security. The dominance myth lingers, fueled by stories of cats who chase rivals from the best seats or spray the sofa in defiance. Yet the science tells a more complicated story. Scent marking, whether by bunting or spraying, is less about conquest and more about communication. The chair is not just a throne, it is a message board, a place where stress and comfort collide. When cats mark, they are not staking a claim over you, they are reaching for stability in a world that can change in an instant. The old power narrative misses the subtlety, and in doing so overlooks the deeper meaning behind the act. Scratch marks line the paths cats travel most, but these are not just random acts of destruction. Along door frames, chair legs, and even the edge of a favorite seat, each scratch leaves behind more than a visible trail. Beneath the surface, feline paws press scent deep into the grain, mixing chemical messages with physical ones. Researchers have tracked this pattern in homes and shelters. Cats scratch along routes they walk daily, not just at boundaries, and the evidence points to an unexpected function. Daniel Mills, a leading feline behaviorist, reframes scratching as a social act, one that serves to reinforce bonds, not just carve out territory. Scent marking studies reveal that scent marking, especially through scratching, is often directed at shared spaces and core travel routes. In these zones, the marks are not warnings, they are invitations. Cats deposit a unique blend of pheromones from glands between their toes, layering their own scent onto places already rich with human odor. The result is a chemical handshake, a mingling of identities that signals affiliation rather than exclusion. When a cat scratches the leg of your chair or rubs its face along the cushion, it is not staking a claim against you. It is including you in its world. This affiliative interpretation is backed by data from multi-cat households, where shared scratching posts and communal scent marking lower tension and help maintain harmony. Even single cats, living with humans alone, repeat these rituals. The act of marking is not about dominance, it is about creating a shared territory, a safe zone that blends the sense of everyone who belongs. Mills argues that when we see a cat scratching or settling into our chair, we are witnessing a gesture of trust, a practical, everyday way of saying, "You and I are family here." Understanding this, the old urge to scold or feel slighted loses its grip. The science invites a different response, one of compassion, grounded in the knowledge that your cat's so-called theft is actually a sign of belonging. In the quiet aftermath of a scratch or a rub, what remains is a message, written in pheromones, that you are part of the same story. 10,000 years ago, wildcats stalked the edges of early human settlements, drawn by the promise of food and shelter. Archaeological digs in Cyprus have uncovered feline remains, buried alongside humans, dating back to 7,500 BCE. A hint that the partnership between cat and human began long before the first brick house or woven chair. In ancient Egypt, tomb paintings from nearly 4 millennia ago show cats reclining beneath tables, their bodies curled in the same familiar pose seen in living rooms today. But the roots of the chair-stealing ritual run even deeper, back to the wild ancestors of the domestic cat, Felis sylvestris libica, who marked their territory with scent and scratches, mapping invisible boundaries across the landscape. In the wild, scent was survival. Wildcats patrolled core territories, rubbing their faces and flanks against rocks and tree trunks, leaving behind a trail of fatty acids, and pheromones. Each mark carried information: who had passed, their health, their readiness to mate. The act of bunting, a gentle rub of the cheek, was both a declaration and an invitation, signaling not just ownership, but also familiarity within a shared space. Even feces played a role, sometimes buried deep in the heart of the territory, sometimes left exposed at the edges, a debated signal to rivals or a practical act of energy conservation. As cats moved from the margins of human society into the heart of the home, these rituals adapted. The chair replaced the sun-warmed rock, the table leg stood in for the tree trunk. The same glands that once marked the boundaries of a wild domain now pressed against furniture, Owie writes, layering the scent of cat over the scent of human. Every rub and scratch is a living fossil, evidence of an ancestral toolkit repurposed for a new kind of family. The chair, in this light, becomes a bridge between worlds, a place where ancient instincts meet modern intimacy, and where every act of marking carries echoes of a wild past. Ava's chair holds more than just her shape. It holds her warmth. For a cat, this is more than a pleasant bonus. It is a physiological invitation. Domestic cats are built for warmer climates, with a thermoneutral zone that runs from 86 to 101 degrees Fahrenheit, far above what most humans find comfortable. When Ava stands, the seat she leaves behind is a pocket of residual heat, a fleeting echo of her presence that lingers in the fibers. Her cat finds it within seconds, curls into the still warm indentation, and lets his body relax. This is not simply about comfort. In feline biology, warmth is safety. A chair that holds the owner's heat is a chair that promises security, and a cat will always choose the spot that feels most like home. But the warmth does something more. It amplifies the scent. Fatty acids and pheromones deposited by both Ava and her cat persist in the fabric, lingering until they are removed by washing. As long as the chair remains unwashed, it carries a layered message. You were here, and now I am too. Cats return to these spots because the scent is strongest, while the heat lasts. The combination of warmth and familiar odor is a signal of trust, a kind of emotional open door. To settle in a freshly vacated chair is to accept the owner's invitation, to claim a place in the heart of the territory. For Ava's cat, vulnerability is part of the ritual. He tucks his paws, exposes his belly, and closes his eyes. These gestures are reserved for the safest places. The chair becomes a private sanctuary, not just because it is warm, but because it is infused with the presence of someone he trusts. In these moments, chair stealing is transformed from a nuisance into the highest compliment a cat can give. It is not theft, it is belonging. In homes around the world, cats still claim our chairs, not out of defiance, but as a living signal of trust and shared space. As research uncovers new layers to their behavior, we're reminded that the bond between species is always evolving, shaped daily by small, silent gestures. Sometimes the closest connection is found exactly where you least expect it. Tell us, what does your cat's chair stealing mean to you?